that feeling, right? You're completely drowning in data, you've got spreadsheets coming out of your ears, but you're starving for actual insights. As a product manager, it is so easy to get lost in metrics that look good, but they don't really tell you if your product is actually winning. Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise with a framework that will fundamentally change the way you measure success. Yeah? This right here? This hits the nail on the head. It's time to stop chasing those metrics that just make us feel busy. We're going to start focusing on the ones that tell the true story of our product's health and our user's journey. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The real story isn't about page views or your total number of downloads. It's about whether people are finding your product, if they're actually getting value from it, if they're sticking around, and ultimately, if they're helping your business grow. So many teams operate this way. They're basically flying blind. They celebrate these big, flashy numbers like registered users without ever asking how many of those users are actually active. This is what we call focusing on vanity metrics. They look great on a chart, for sure, but they don't measure true user value or business health. So how do we find our way out of the dark? We use a map, and not just any map. We're talking about a pirate's treasure map. This is the AARRR framework, and yep, it's called that because it sounds like a pirate's growl. It's a clear 5-step guide that takes you through the entire customer journey. Okay, so to get specific for a second, the AARRR framework was created by investor Dave McClure. It's basically a model for really understanding your customers by tracking their entire life cycle. What's so powerful about it is that it gives you a complete, holistic view. It forces you to think about how a user discovers, uses, and grows with your product. And here they are, the 5 pieces of our treasure map: acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue. Seriously, if you can get these 5 right, you'll have a crystal clear picture of your product's performance. What's really powerful about this is that each stage just flows logically into the next one. It's a journey. So let's walk through it step by step and see what treasure we can uncover. We start at the very beginning with acquisition. This is all about how users find you in the first place. Think of this as the top of your funnel, where complete strangers first encounter your product. So the most important thing here is understanding where your users are coming from. Is it a social media ad, a Google search, a blog post somebody wrote? This stage is all about tracking those first initial touchpoints. So to measure this, you've got to be asking, where are our users coming from? And more importantly, which channels are bringing in the right kind of users? And then, what's our sign-up rate? Of all the people who land on our site, how many actually take that first step? But look, getting someone in the door is only half the battle. Now, you have to give them a great first experience. And that brings us to activation. This is the aha moment. It's that magic point when a new user doesn't just sign up, but they perform a key action that makes them go, "Oh, I get it. This is why this product is useful." So here you should be tracking things like, do they actually complete your onboarding flow? Do they use that one killer feature you built? The whole goal is to shrink the time it takes for them to see the value. That's a huge sign of a healthy activation process. Okay, now we're getting to a metric that a lot of people say is the most important one of all: retention. I mean, a great first experience is nice, but do users actually come back for more? Retention is the true test of product market fit. It's the proof that you've built something people actually want. It proves your product provides ongoing value. Because think about it, a leaky bucket that loses users as fast as you acquire them is just not a sustainable business. The key metric to watch here is churn, which is just the percentage of customers who stop using your product over time. Your goal is to keep that number as low as possible. High retention means you're building a loyal user base that will power your growth. And what do loyal, happy users do? They tell their friends. And that brings us to the next stage of our journey: referral. This is where your product's growth can just absolutely explode. When your users become your sales force, you create a powerful organic growth engine that's way more effective than any marketing campaign you could dream up. You can measure this with tools like the Net Promoter Score, or NPS, that simple survey that asks customers how likely they are to recommend your product. Or you can just track direct actions, like how many invites are actually being sent from your platform. Okay, so we've acquired users, we've activated them, we've kept them coming back, and we've turned them into fans. Now it's time to talk about the final crucial step: revenue. At the end of the day, a product needs to be financially successful. And this framework shows how all the previous stages, acquisition, activation, retention, referral, are all designed to lead to this ultimate goal. A healthy funnel leads to a healthy business. Simple as that. Here you'll track core financial metrics like customer lifetime value, or CLV, which is just the total amount of money a customer is expected to spend on your products. You'll also look at average revenue per user, or ARPU. Answering these questions proves your business model is actually working. Okay, so we have our 5-stage map. Now, how do we actually use it to navigate away from those bad metrics we talked about at the beginning? It's all about a shift in focus. So instead of celebrating the number of downloads, focus on your activation rate. Instead of just looking at total registered users, you need to track your churn rate. And instead of counting page views, you must understand your customer lifetime value. This is how you shift from just looking busy to actually proving your impact. I know this can feel like a lot to track all at once, but you don't have to boil the ocean here. The key is to just start somewhere. So here's your action plan. This week, just pick one stage. Maybe it's activation. Then define one key metric for it, something like the percentage of users who use a core feature in their first session. And then just start measuring it. That's it. That one small step can give you incredible clarity. So I'll leave you with this question. Look past all the vanity metrics, use this framework to uncover the truth. Go find out what story your product is really telling you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like.